Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to create a assistant on Scout, very similar to what you will get if you use something like OpenClaw, but this will be much easier to do. I'm basically going to give you the instructions to load in the Scout, and we'll go through each of them, but create an assistant agent. And this agent will be able to delegate tasks to other agents. We'll be able to schedule tasks, and we'll be able to problem solve in a very cool way. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to load in as an attachment this claw agent file, which basically has all the instructions plus all the tools that we want this agent to have. And the important thing is long-term memory. So long-term memory will allow the agent to learn over time. And we'll just go ahead and just attach this file into our main Scout agent view. And we will say create agent. And Scout will go ahead and read that attachment and then use that to create a agent assistant for us. And this agent assistant can interact with us via Slack through an integration, and it can also delegate to other agents. So for the demo, after we load this, we're going to attach it to a Scout channel, and then we're going to interact with it and get it to manage a calendar worker agent that we created that's attached to our Google Calendar integration. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to view the agent, and we're going to set our model to use Haiku 4.5 because it's fast and good. And you can see here we have a description: personal assistant specializing in agent orchestration and reoccurring task management, bridges the gap between you and your AI team while building institutional knowledge over time. So it has long-term memory, which basically means that it saves it to a file, claw/memory.md, whenever it needs to remember something, and when it wants to look up memory, it can read that file. Then we have what we call a soul, which basically tells the agent how to behave, and the core truths helps with its problem solving abilities, kind of narrowing that in. And then we have boundaries, right? That gives it guidance on where to be. And then we have vibe and decision framework. And we have our user. We've got a set of instructions, and now what we want to do, we'll go ahead and save this agent. And then we're not even going to interact with it in Scout. We're going to go straight to Slack. What we want to do is create our calendar worker agent. Let's go back to a new chat and say, create calendar manager agent. Let's call the agent Cal, and it should have all the capabilities of interacting with Google Calendar, from reading to creating and updating calendar appointments. Okay, while that's being created, I'm going to go ahead and log into Scoutland Slack. I'll use the browser. Okay. And I'm going to just create a channel, and I'm going to call it Tom-Claw, which will be a private channel for me and my claw bot. I'll hit private, and then I'll close out, and I'll just invite Scout to the channel. Invite Scout. And that's going to add this Tom Claw channel to make it visible in our Scout interface. It's created our calendar agent that can say, what's on my calendar today, schedule a team meeting, find me a free hour for the week. So it has basic Scout calendar management skills, but it doesn't have a long-term memory. It just takes instruction and does it and returns a result. It's a very simple agent. And then our claw agent is going to be the orchestrator. So let's go back to Studio and then Slack. And if we look, we should see tom.claw. So we'll select that and we'll say add bot to channel. And now it's going to say that it's joined. And then we simply want to add our claw agent to the channel. We'll hit select claw, and we could say respond if, and whenever it receives a message, it'll just start a thread. That's good. It keeps things clean, and we'll just save that for now. We could add conditionals, but since this is a private channel between me and Claw, we don't really need to have any conditionals. We'll just, whenever we talk to it, it should respond. So cool. So we set up our Claw agent. We set up a calendar worker agent. We have our integrations configured. So Google Calendar and Google Slack. And now we can leave our Scout Studio environment, go to our Slack environment, and then just say hello. And we've got a reply from Claw. Cool. What's on my mind? Could you check my calendar? Wait. Hey, Claw. Can you ask Cal to check my calendar and see what meetings I have today? So when I ask this, I'm asking Claw, he's my assistant, and I'm asking him to ask Cal, and Cal is the calendar worker. So Claw has no knowledge of how to work with Google Calendar. Cal does. So I'm asking Claw to ask Cal to check my calendar and see what meetings I have today. So this is important, and it may seem redundant, but let's say you have many workers, right? And here's a kind of an example here. Let's say you have your personal assistant, Claw, and you have all of these workers: a CRM worker, an email worker, a project worker, a code worker. So all these worker agents. You can go and just talk to Jarvis and say, hey, look at all the leads and ask Fran to find all the leads. And then loop over each new lead that was found in the last hour and ask Sarah to generate a draft email for each of those leads. Now, you may want to have Fran to provide more information than just their name and email. Maybe to provide some more lead information that's stored in the CRM. So then Sarah can use that to essentially create a personalized welcome email for each lead that comes into the CRM. And then you can schedule that on an hourly basis. So now you've got Claw running every hour to check and see if there's any new leads in the CRM. Then if there are, then draft emails for Sarah and so on and so forth. So let's check back. Claw came back. He said, I can help with that, but I need a little bit more info first. Do you have Cal's agent ID? No, but you should be able to search for it. And what calendar system am I using? Google Calendar. So now Claw should find Cal and delegate the task to check Google Calendar for today's meetings. Cool. Ask Cal to schedule a meeting for 4:30 with Curtis. No. So, yeah, it's going to ask for a couple of details. Let's say, so we'll say today in 30 minutes and sync and Curtis at scoutos.com. Okay, Claw will continue to work with Cal to add that meeting request, and I'm in Slack. So because I'm in Slack, I can also do this on my mobile phone. I can pretty much access Claw anywhere I want, and it will work with me. Since we just created this agent, it's got to learn as it goes and tune. What we're doing now is basically teaching it to say, understand you don't know how to create calendar appointments, but Cal does. So delegate this to Cal and then remember this task. So the next time I ask you, you just do it, right? Okay, now let's say ask Cal for my calendar appointments. And now he's going to do that. Oops, he delegated to himself. Okay, he found Kyle, now he's delegating. Okay, so maybe remember if any calendar request happens to always delegate to Cal, maybe save his ID in your memory. Cool. So it listed that, and now he's going to save Cal's agent ID to his memory. So hopefully he won't ask about these transactions. Hopefully he learns. So I can just say, hey, check what's in my calendar. And he'll know, oh, I need to delegate that to Cal, and then ask Cal to check Tom's calendar and then return the information. Now, another thing you can do is let's schedule every day to ask Cal to check my calendar to create a summary of all of today's meetings and post it here. So the way we do that is let's schedule a task every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. This task is to ask Cal what are all the meetings for today and create a summary report and post here. Use my Slack user ID to mention me on the post, so I will get the notification. Okay, now we're telling Claw to schedule a task that runs every morning, and it will be reoccurring. And just at 9 a.m., go and ask Cal to check my calendar, generate a summary of all the meetings, and post it here, and then mention me. So it'll actually say at Tom Wilson and notify me just any other user would. And let's say list our scheduled task. Cool. Now also, Claude can also do some web search research. So you can ask it to search things on the web and then delegate that information to other workers, for example. And you can set it up so that your assistant can also use skills, and we'll cover that in another video. But for now, hopefully this gives you an idea of how you can create your own kind of open claw personal assistant on Scout, and then give it access to your integrations in a safe way. Now, one of the things you may want to think about, the calendar is not that big a deal, but you may want to set up a separate user for some of your accounts and then integrate that user into your workspace and create workers from that instead of using yourself. But you can do it so many different ways. But yeah, that's how you create your own claw on Scout OS.